Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. And if you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you are not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying, courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you can only make those comments or ask those questions during the live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform enjoyable and informative, please give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, and share the videos, and comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining, please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, to make your donations. You can only use the super chat donation feature during a live stream. Now, your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar, and with your memberships, you'll get special badges that I can see in the YouTube chat box, and you can also get unlimited replay of member-only videos, and once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me and hopefully make the show better, please go to my YouTube channel at Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there, even if they're repeated. Flying Control Line Stunt. And go to the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his camera of me flying his plane, the Junar XL. When you do that, I'll be notified quickly, and I'll be able to get back to you just as quick. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep your conversations family room friendly. In other words, don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your children or grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to go to the Stunthangar Forum website and post a link at the section called At the Bench, and there be a link today with today's date. All right, I just posted the link, and now let me go to Stunthangar. And I want to get into the control panel so I can really see what's really going on with the channels. Just bear with me for a second. I got to go through all these maneuvers every time. I wish it was automatic, but it's not. So I see tonight's show is up and running, and we have 7 concurrent viewers. We have 5 likes. Thank you very much. And I even see some chat revenue. Boy, what a great start. Thank you, Mike Millard, for the $5. Appreciate that immensely, and Sparky does too. And we have 6 likes, $5 in chat revenue. And so if you haven't, we're up to 8 now. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That also helps with the analytics. And also don't forget to join. Now, to join the membership does have a $4.99 monthly deduction, but that's like a cup of coffee. You go to Starbucks, and you're going to get a lot more out of it than a buzz of caffeine. Promise you that. And in the comments in the chat box, Jack Snavely says, "Hello all around the world. Just saying hi again. Thumbs up, always. Thumbs up, thumbs up." Thank you very much, Jack. And then, of course, Mike Millard with his super chat. That super chat is down below at the bottom of the chat box. And like I said in my monologue, you only can donate the super chat during the live stream. So if you watch this as a replay, please make a note of this every Monday and Friday, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come on in and make a donation, please. And then, back out and come back at a later date when it's more convenient for you to watch the whole stream. But it's important that you guys support this. And Mike Regel, he says, "I love watching this every time it comes on." Thank you so much, Mike Regel. And the last several episodes have been very good. Yeah, I really enjoyed, I think the time before. I mean, I enjoyed the last time too, but time before with those videos and pictures. And also Mel. Hey, Mel. Thanks for coming. And yeah, so I really like that, the photo montage that Bob Hunt treated us to. And let me get rid of this screen here, Mel, hang on. And there we go. All right, so we're all set. Thank you for coming in early, Mel. I appreciate it. That way I don't have to do a dog and pony show or
have to show off a little. Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps me out. And I remember when Sparky was doing this, not Sparky, but I remember when Sparky did do it initially, but I remember when Rusty was doing this, and I remember trying to come in sometimes to help him out, but I knew he was having to do something to kill the time until we started coming in. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. So well, I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna watch.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's no pressure. No pressure. Even just you not just saying how's it going. That's good. I've been working on several planes. I'm not even ready. I have a contest coming up in I think 3 or 4 weekends, and I'm not even ready. I haven't flown a stunt pattern in forever. And I know Michael Lonke's probably feeling pretty good about his chances hearing all this, but I will show up and show
all out. Right. Gotta compete.
Yes, I love to compete. So I'll just I'll get there. Now, Mike Regel says, yes, those photos would make a great coffee table book. I would definitely buy one. Yeah, I think Bob Hunt should do that because he's quite a resource and a treasure. Just his stories. I love the story. The pictures are good, but I love his stories too. The stories are great. And some of his jokes are super funny. There's one joke he says, "I can't hear enough," and that's the one about Bob Gieske up in heaven. Anyways, Gary Sinclair is coming in.
All right.
And speaking of, also, Rusty, he had some lines that were so funny. Rusty, hey, Bob Hunt, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Charles?
Doing well. Thank you very much.
Oh, Bob Hunt here. Hi, Bob. Oh, yeah, Gary.
All right. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Great. Yeah, I'm doing well too. Last Friday I couldn't fly. It was we actually had rain in Southern California. Unbelievable. And then and today was just too much personal business I had to take care of. I normally fly on for sure Mondays and Fridays and sometimes throughout the week, but usually those 2 days I hit it. But I haven't flown, I guess, since a week or so ago from today. And we have Tom, I think Tom Rammel is coming in. I wonder if Tom has some info on his new, I saw a thumbnail of Tom Rammel demonstrating programming the TUT. Looks like Tom is connecting to the audio. So once that's connected, he'll be inside. I was watching some, I like the Walt Brunel's channel on YouTube. He's been putting up a lot of the Brodak fly-in to 2005. And I've just been enjoying just playing that in the background and listening to Wendy with his camera and talking to people and having a lot of fun. And saw the sweeper fly. Boy, that was a big plane, 900 square inch wing, huge plane. Hey, John, thanks for coming in.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it looks like you have the quick route because Tom Rammel is still connecting, and he started connecting before you came in. So,
Oh, really?
hopefully, Tom, you're not having too much difficulty, Tom. If you have a problem, you know the drill. Just back out and come back in. But I see your name, Tom. I just can't see you, and we also can't hear you.
You were talking about the sweeper before.
Yeah.
Well, I watched that airplane fly in its very first contest back in 1964.
God, you're old.
The original one. And back then I was just getting started in flying stunt. And the day I met Gene Schaefer, Bill Simons, my mentor, had been invited over to Gene Schaefer's house for breakfast before a contest out at Willets Point, which is where Shea Stadium was eventually built.
Wow.
And I went over to Gene's house and met him. That's a whole story unto itself. But then we went out to Willets Point to the contest. And Wendy was supposed to be there, but he didn't show up. He didn't show up most of the day. And then late in the day, he showed up. And we asked him where he was. And he said, well, he got arrested. And we said, what do you mean you got arrested? He said, well, he had a Chevy 2, a Nova. And he couldn't fit the sweeper in that car, no matter what. But he had a box that went on top. And apparently the box overhung the sides of the car. And when he went into a toll booth, the toll collector put his head out and he knocked him clean out with the box. And he got arrested for knocking out the toll collector. And he was late getting.
I can see him standing in front of a judge on that one.
Yeah, that's the story he told, and he's sticking to it. So
Wow, knocking out a pole collector. Wow.
Toll collector, yeah.
Assault with a model airplane.
Yeah.
And I'm always telling people that we never hurt anybody. We're safe and have the safety thong.
I wonder if the police have a code for that, for getting knocked out by a sweeper.
I know. Well, maybe they have been knocked out by a janitor before.
Sweepers out cleaning up after the horses in the city.
I flew that airplane. I flew both of his sweepers, but the first one I flew, I remember having to ice my arm for about 2 weeks because it hurt so hard after flying. It hurt so bad.
Wow. Yeah, I don't understand why some people want a plane to pull so hard. I mean, I would adjust that out somehow, with the adjustable lead outs or something.
You got a 747 at the end of the line. So it's kind of hard to adjust it out, So it was a good flying airplane, though. It flew very, very well.
Yeah, I was watching. I think Derek Barry at Brodax fly it, and I saw another gentleman fly it. I don't know who it was. I couldn't tell there. It was too far back. The zoom was too far back to see who was flying it, but it was at Brodax. Yeah. So.
Well, the second one he had in 1980, when he came back to flying after a long layoff, he came up to visit me, and I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to build another sweeper, but I'm going to use a foam wing and a foam tail and everything." So I said, "Okay." So we made one, and we went out to the 1980 Nationals together, and we went out in his green Ford van, which had not upholstery, but carpeted throughout the whole interior and everything. And he had an 8-track tape player, but he only had one tape. It was Fiddler on the Roof. which is where the name of the airplane Tradition came from, because one of the songs on that tape was Tradition.
Right.
And we got to the Nationals and we were practicing. And one day I launched the airplane and the lines caught something on the runway and it turned the airplane in towards him and it chased him all over the circle. It never got airborne, but it chased him around and he finally got it stopped and didn't do any damage to the airplane. And he actually qualified in the top 20 in his first Nationals back with that big airplane.
Well, that's pretty good to qualify in your top 20.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It was funny though to watch him being chased around with a big airplane.
Yes. Listening to that Brodak video, I learned today, he said he got the name Sweeper because that was one of his first jobs, was being a janitor. And that's why the name Sweeper came from for the plane. That's according to his own words in the video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how you doing, Tom? I saw a thumbnail of a little short video of you, I guess, programming the Tut, but I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did see it. So I hope I can get credit or brownie points for seeing the thumbnail. Very good. Let me make that big. Hang on, so people can see what we're talking about. Come on, cursor, where you're at. Hang on. Okay. So spotlight for everyone. There we go. Now everyone can see it.
So yeah, this is the programmer to program the little tut boards, and this is I got it screwed on there now, but that's the first printed circuit board of the new rev of the Tut, and it doesn't have any components on it yet. I'm still waiting for the microcontroller to come in.
Very cool. And just for review, and for our audience who might not be familiar with it, can you explain what your understanding is of what the Tut is for?
Yeah, so the Tut is a timer for electric airplanes, and it was designed by Tim Westcott, and the specification was done by Howard Rush, and it has two modes. It has an AMA mode and an FAI mode, and you can program the parameters and the modes with the Jetty box. So yeah, it's for electric control line airplanes, and it can either be used in conjunction with another timer, or it can work as a standalone timer.
Now I understand that it gives you a like a 6-stage, or I mean, as far as a soft start, is that right? And also it gives you a shut off, so you can do the loop
kill mode where you can set how long a delay you have before it does the kill. And these timers have a 3-axis gyro built into them, so that's how it knows, when to start the kill loop and things like that. It can tell where it is in the circle.
You say that it's a standalone timer as well. Does it have an active timer function in it? In other words, does it sense, when the airplane's pulling the nose up or the G-forces go up and it increases or decreases the speed like the Fiorati or the Igor timer?
Bob, I don't know the answer to that. I wasn't involved in the specification. I'm only involved in building these things.
Well, that's an honest answer, so that's good, That's good.
So I guess Howard or Tim Westcott would be the ones to ask that question.
Okay.
Yeah. And then again, the price once they're available is $79, right? Or was it 75?
75, yeah.
75, and then my $4 finder's fee.
If it goes on a Pathfinder, I get $1.
Oh Lord, things haven't changed.
Hey, what's up, Phil? How you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Doing great. Big John,
Yes, sir.
I found something today that will be to you hopefully by the end of the week. I had your check all written up and left it laying here when I got hurt. I didn't mail a darn thing. So anyway, it's in the mailbox now.
Well, I wasn't worried about it.
Well, I am. I don't like to owe people.
I know.
Mr. Hunt, how the heck are you? How was your contest?
Oh, it's good. You had 56 entries from 10 states.
That's cool. Well, you would have had another one if I could have got there, but I haven't flown now in 11 weeks. I'll get, if you have it next year, I'll be there next year. I sure hope. Should have been a blast being the last one to Garden State Circle Burners.
Yeah, the 50th anniversary old time contest. We hosted them hosting that contest. It was kind of a contest within a contest, and it had different trophies too. It had these plaques that they gave out were exquisite. They were like $100 a piece.
That's
And
neat.
They were just gorgeous, you know.
Do you have one
That
to
sounds
show?
cool.
I know you didn't compete, so you don't have the first place one, but do you have one that you can show by chance?
I don't, you know, and I didn't take a picture of them either, but I'll have to get one because they really are beautiful.
Wow.
Everybody who got one I think, were stunned by how beautiful they were. And they also had a nice certificate of participation made up that everyone entered in the old time stunt event got a nice certificate that had John Biscuit airplane on it. It was really nice. They did a good
Yeah,
job.
I bet it was. Well, we would have been there if we could have been. Even the boss was looking forward to it. She don't fly.
Hey, Howard,
Lord.
thanks for coming in, Howard.
Hey,
I
Howard.
don't know if you can answer the question, but you might answer the question that Bob Hunt posed to Tom Rammel about the TUT. You want to repeat that question, Bob Hunt?
Yeah, well,
Howard
Tom
might
was thinking that it not only is an add-on to a regular timer, one of the active timers, but that it also is a standalone timer.
Yes.
Does it also have? Is it a standalone timer?
Yeah.
Does it have a active timer function?
No. It passes through the active timer signals.
Okay, so standing alone, it doesn't have that function.
That's right.
Okay.
So if the active timer fails, it's a backup to it. That's kind of nice.
Well, that's good. I've never had one fail, but you know, could
No,
happen.
or you can use it by. Well, I've forgotten to hook it up.
That's not a timer fail.
No.
That's
Does it
bad
have
when you go.
Does it have a little light on there that tells you that you forgot to hook up the other one up?
Yes, it does. And I think it does. Yeah, I was wondering, why is it going so slowly? Because I forgot to
Oh, isn't that neat?
reprogram it to have the same speed.
It's got a little screen on there that tells you when the next payment's due and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's cool, Tom. Looks good. How much is the programmer going to be for this beast?
You use a Jedi box.
Oh, okay. Got that. Sounds good.
Howard, I have
Oh,
a question
man.
on this starting. You said it does helps you with the rollout, and can you elaborate on that?
No, I can if I turn you up a little bit. It has a takeoff mode that's duration and everything's programmable. And I have it go for 7 seconds at low throttle and then go up to cruise speed and hand off to Igor. And then at the end of the flight, it gives a burst of speed, and you can end the flight by doing a kill loop or by another function for FAI or kill
Now,
loop.
the speed function is for FAI landing, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The burst of speed function is specifically for the FAI landing requirement where you have to glide a full lap at level flight before you touch down.
Yeah, I use it for AMA also after the kill loop.
Yeah, but it gives you that little burst of speed. It gives you the impetus to make the airplane go a full lap.
Yep. Yep.
Without
And
having to do it so hard, right? That's a
And-
really good idea.
it's programmable as to how fast you want it to go and for how long.
That's
A
pretty
lot of
neat.
people don't realize that the FAI rule requirement for landing is that once the airplane reaches 5-foot altitude, it has to glide one lap before it touches the wheels down,
Okay.
or supposed to.
That'll be
Yeah.
easy with, that ought to
Not
be
like
easy
it-
with Revolution. I've never seen anything glide that far.
Well, that's why they have the burst of speed, Phil, so that it will give you a little more impetus to do that lap.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's neat. Now, I've got a plane that won't, I don't think it would make another lap. If you had it at FAI speed plane speed, I don't believe it would make a lap, but Revolution will. That's a clean design. Works very well. Bob, I came up with something the other day. You were flying the original Crossfire now, right?
No, not the original one.
Oh, so you got an XLTC?
I sold that to a guy up in New Hampshire in the late 90s.
Well, oh gosh, yeah. The original Crossfire was the one with the 40. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No, the electric. Well, the one you're flying is not an XLTC.
No, it's just a regular Crossfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I built that airplane in 2010. I designed it in May of 2010 and had it virtually ready to go to the Nationals in July of 2010. But then my motorcycle safety training duties kept me from going. And I didn't get to fly it till the next year in 2012. Or excuse me, 2011. I flew it in 11.
Yeah.
And that's the year that the Dust Devil picked it up and threw it down the runway and broke it in half. Yeah.
Wow.
That hurts.
Brett
That
Buck and I
hurts.
put it back together again, and it actually flew a little better.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Oh me.
Which
Well, I'll tell you.
the decision to refinish it on Easter morning in 2012. I got up and something said, refinish this airplane. And because it was lined up properly, I was very careful not to ruin the alignment. I took off the top shell, fixed all the damage inside the fuselage because they got broken in half. And then and then I put a new top shell on. Then I stripped off the bottom shell, made a new bottom shell and put it on. And it refinished it, and it's been really good to me.
So that's the one you finished in the magazine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
It's right there, actually.
I got a question. Let me ask a stupid question. How the heck do you hold that thing in a paint fixture?
That's a good question. I can actually put a picture up. It shows how you do it in an electric airplane, at least my electric airplanes.
Well,
you
that's good enough.
What about? Because they're so,
Yeah.
It would. Let me see if I can find a. You guys can talk while I find this. I know I have it.
I was trying to figure out how in the world do you do this, because just trying to hang it from I made a hanger that I could hang it from my garage door, the rails, and hang it down because I couldn't figure out how to put it on my paint stand. They hang from the motor mounts, but I was going to have to make a metal mount that'll go in the hook where an electric motor hooks. And I thought, I don't know about all that. But anyway,
That's easy.
I have to find it here, but I'll find it.
Well, I need to find, if it's easy, I need to find out how to do it, because I've got 2 Crossfires and a SV Cavalier to paint. And it is a pistol to try to paint one of these things. I mean, you just have to paint the wings and wait for that to dry and then paint fuselage. And that's a real honest to goodness headache.
You got some aluminum T-section?
Aluminum T sections.
Yeah.
No, I've got 90s,
T-shaped
but
extrusion.
no T's. That could work.
Yeah. T for Texas, T for Tennessee.
Yeah. I don't have any aluminum teas, but I can make some. I can get some.
Well, why don't I send you some?
Well, that'd be great. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
I make a little
figure out-
sheet in there.
Yeah, let's see what Bob does. It's probably better.
I know I have a picture of it. I just got 14 bazillion photos here. I'm trying to find it. Wait a minute, I think I know where it is.
If you're in your shop, it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not in my shop, unfortunately, and I'm not walking down there. That's too many. There's too many steps at this time of
Well,
night.
your age, yeah.
Yeah. I'll find it. When I find it, I'll put it up. You guys keep talking.
All right. Hey, thanks, Bob, for looking.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah,
even thought
thanks a
about
bunch.
that problem of painting and electric until you just brought it up tonight. So I appreciate that, gentlemen, because I
Oh, I'm
didn't even
telling
realize I have a paint stand that Jeff Riley made for me for regular engine mount connection.
Yeah, that's what I have, and it works great. But it don't work. I started to paint the I guess the first one was a crossfire. I took out there and said, "Now, how in the heck do I put this on that?" It don't work.
What if you put it vertical, tail up, sticking out?
That's
that way
the
you
way
can-
I've.
And that way you can easily bolt it down on an existing firewall, and you just spin it around in the vertical plane. You don't have to paint in horizontal plane. Besides that, when you have your wing like this, it's much easier to paint like this in a horizontal direction, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, Tran.
There you go. Problem solved. Next.
Hey, thanks for coming in, trying. Appreciate that.
What are we gonna do with him?
Hi.
That son of a gun is so smart, but he makes things seem so simple sometimes. And you're sitting there, duh. Okay. How you doing, Tran?
Oh, good. Good. Feeling good.
Deal. Glad to hear it.
Yep, it's all good. Well, I've decided to not try to go in one shot and kill it all in 1 day or 2 days, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm just gonna take it easy, I'm just gonna do a little bit every day and just keep chugging at it until it gets done.
Well,
And
it works for Sparky. That's the way he does, an hour a day, and he builds some beautiful birds.
yeah, it adds up. It
Yeah.
does add up. Yeah. Wow. I mean, 1 hour I can lay up a whole stabilizer in 1 hour.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I keep hoping I'm going to get to go flying again.
Mhm.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that is. Oh,
Now,
that.
now it doesn't show everything in the picture because in the back in the former, right underneath where the back of the canopy is, there's a slot and there's a little
Yeah.
tab that goes into that slot, and then in the front there's a little T section that bolts down to the floor in the airplane. I'll get another picture up here in a minute to show that. But then you can clamp that onto a rotisserie, and you can spin it around, and it works great. Let me get another
Oh,
picture
darn.
here that shows some of the component parts.
So you attach
Leave
it
it
to
to
the
hunt.
battery,
Yeah.
battery floor.
Yeah.
Was that?
You attach it to the battery floor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
In the back, I got another picture here. I think that'll help. This is out of the airplane now. Let me see if I
Yeah.
can.
That's better.
Yeah. What about the round shaft that goes through the nose ring, because it usually has a hole over there for the motor, right? And then you attach it to the battery floor down there, and that should be solid enough to.
I like that.
Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at
see,
that.
Little tab in the back goes into the slot in that former.
Yeah.
Really 8 by 5/8 or so, and then the front thing bolts down to the floor of the airplane there, and you can spin it around, and it doesn't put any stress on the motor mount whatsoever. It doesn't even touch the motor
Yeah.
mount.
I
When
did mine
when
from
I
the
built
motor mount, which is a little sportier.
when I built my first electric, I made it. It was a Nobler, and I made it with a tab that holds the battery in like that. And the second one I did was a Vector, and I used the Velcro that they tell you to use.
Mhm.
I flew it in the wind, and the Velcro let go, and the battery came out of the top of the airplane. I thought it hit a bird.
Yeah, I'll never use Velcro.
Well, I won't do it again.
Thing you get a little better view of it, you know.
Yeah, I wanted, the idea was that I didn't want to use screws on this because somebody had told me you go flying in the rain or something, these batteries tend to not like getting wet, and you could have a fire and lose the airplane. So you want to be able to get the battery out of it quick. So I used the Velcro because everybody told me that was the safe. Well, 2 people told me that was the safe way of doing it. I got to thinking about it. I said, you know, Paul Walker uses like 4 screws in the bottom of his P-47. I don't know what he uses in this new airplane he's flying, but which is not new, but it's new to me. That's neat, Bobby. That is really sharp. But anyway, the Vector is put back together and ready to test fly. There is no Velcro on my airplane any longer. So anyway, for what it's worth,
Why?
I learned my
Yeah.
lesson.
Okay, so if that's the problem, then why don't you make something that you don't need any tools for it to take the battery in and out?
You don't. You put a piece in, you put a plate, you put the battery in, you put a plate down, and it slides backwards and locks. It's just 2 keyways and just slides down and it locks up under.
Yeah.
Piece of plywood that goes down, locks up under, and it's got a tab on top you can grab with your fingers and pull it in and out easy. It was so simple. It was staring me in the face and I just didn't see it. So
yeah. I was just
I had one of those aha moments.
Yeah. I was just thinking I was thinking something even simple, like a notch like this, right? Like a notch like
Train,
that.
I can't see you. I haven't seen you yet.
You know, let me make it big.
So
There you are.
You have a notch like this in this shape, right? And as it moves backwards, like with a spring load, right? As it moves backwards, then the plate can lift up, right? And when you push the plate back down, it just snaps back in place. Like that. See?
That'd be about
like,
the same.
Go like a boom. And
be pretty much what that's pretty much what I've got. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you change the battery, just take the finger, just push it out of the way. The plate that holds the battery in place flips up. Take the battery out, change it,
work.
And all you just put is maybe a piece of foam on the battery, just so as it comes down.
That's what I've got for spring load because it's easy to change.
I've always liked the bolt. I like bolting things in, and I like bolting my canopies on too. I think too many things come apart. That's kind of a little thing about how I do the battery compartment.
Well, that's the way the rest of them will be, Bob. But this one I couldn't.
Yeah.
I built it so tight that there wasn't room to do anything like that I could think of at the time. Now that I see that, I can think of another way I could have done it. But hindsight's always 2020. Cool. That was cool, but leave it to Hunt. I mean, between Hunt and Trayan, I don't know.
I like simple things because that's how I think. Simple.
Yeah, that's the only way I can think. But I managed to complicate it anyway. I don't know. My wife says I can take the simplest task and make a monumental task out of it better than anybody she knows.
So do you want a T-section or you got it figured out
now? I'd still like to have a T-section, but I'll make a piece of paint. I'll make a paint fixture out of it.
Yeah, you got the official CF Slattery paint stand?
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, you're in business.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great paint stands. I have one of those too. They're great.
You want some spoil?
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, that's the only way to go, really. Mine's been outside now for a month. That ought to tell you something. I'm painting every day. If it's not raining, I'm trying to paint. But I got my Ringmaster painted, and it looks really cute. But the day I painted it, it was so moist outside that it's man, it is hazed. So I thought, well, I'll wait till we get a pretty day, which we haven't had in 11 days now. But when we get another pretty day, I'm gonna shoot some just thinner on it and get that to release all that hazy looking mess. And
I forgot his name that sold the CF Slattery paint stand. What was his name?
Brian Barker.
Byron Barker.
Brian Barker.
Yeah, what a great guy.
Yeah, he passed away. He was a great guy.
Like the Staples at the Nationals there with their booth. And I guess CF Slattery was a company he worked for. Was it a welder or something?
Yeah, I think it was a welding shop. Yeah.
Welding shop, yeah.
But he did, he built little motors too. He reworked some motors. I've got a 25 he redid. And I didn't think that I didn't see anything. And I got to take the head off and look at it. And it was done very neatly, but I didn't think he'd done that much. But it does run very well. And some of the people that you send motors to soften them up so much, it takes all the guts out of them. This one's still got some punch. Brian did very well at what he did. But he told me he'd bring me one. I talked to him and he said he'd bring me one at Brodax. And I was 2 days late getting there. And one of the guys, I was on the way out to see him, and one of the guys says, he's sold out. I got out there and he told me, so I waited a few minutes and the other guy left and he pulled mine out of the bag. He had it wrapped up in an old newspaper. Go put this in your truck right quick, the van. He's talking about my van. He said, I knew you was coming. You said you was coming. I knew you'd be here. So he had it for us. So he was a cool dude. He said he'd do it. He'd do it.
Good man.
Miss him. I miss him.
And I
There's not
have a,
many guys left
question.
like that anymore.
I have a question from the chat box. Pardon me, Phil.
Go ahead.
Greg Bisbick says, hello, Charles. A question for the panel. The U.S. is changing the entry point to the cloverleaf. Is that an FI rule as well, or just the U.S. change?
Yes.
FAI as well. They already have it, I think. Don't they, Howard? Howard there?
Howard. Oh,
Is
Howard.
is it optional or it's
No,
mandatory?
it's not optional. It's not optional. It's a new entry, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
makes sense.
the way you're doing it now is asymmetrical. You're doing a full loop, and then you're doing three-quarter loops. Now you're going to do 4 3/4 loops.
Mhm.
It'll be more symmetrical.
Well, also one of the things I noticed was I started doing that right, when we started talking about it here a few months ago. When you enter the first loop, the plane is going much faster than it is the rest of the time. So it messes with your timing, whether you realize it or not. But when you enter from the bottom, the plane's climbing and it's doing what it can do. So the rest of the time, you're absolutely, the plane's staying the same speed.
Yeah,
That
and the
is-
other thing it does is it sets the intersection for the pilot and unfortunately also for the judges better than what we're doing now. Because what sets what sets the intersection point, well, the way we're doing it now, because the new rule takes effect January 1st. Okay, the way we're doing it now, the intersection is set by the furthest left-hand portion of the first loop's curve. All right, so you're doing that the first loop. The furthest left-hand portion of that loop is where the intersection is.
Right.
And that's all that sets that intersection. Now the intersection is set by the center of the maneuver.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it makes it easier for the judges to see when you're messing it up too. So
Yeah.
Well, there's always a minus when there's a plus. I mean,
yeah.
But Phil, that being said, you had a keyword over there that you were talking, messes your timing. That's
Yeah.
the problem with timing. When the wind blows, when things change, your timing
That's
is
true.
gonna have to change too.
That's true.
Part
If
of
you
what
get used to,
I'm walking away from the timing.
if you get used to doing it by visualization, which is what I was trying to work on when I had to quit flying, that doesn't bother you near so bad because you just paint what you see, what you
Exactly.
envision.
Mhm.
But if you do it, most of the guys learned, and I learned by flying it by timing.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and up
Yeah.
over the top. So
Yeah,
but
it's
the airplane is constantly changing speeds when it's climbing and diving. So it's not a straight 4/4 time. It's like jazz timing. It's like Al Di Meola here, place. It's really interrupted timing, and you have to be able to adjust on the fly to different timings.
Close the door,
And
please.
so that's why timing in some maneuvers really doesn't work all that well because
no, it
it is
doesn't.
changing so much. You're thinking so much about timing that you're not flying the maneuver. My
Mhm.
father said something to me when I was starting to learn to fly stunt, and it sounded like Captain Obvious stuff. It sounded like, well, of course. And then the more you think about it, the more you realize how much wisdom it was in it. He said to me, he said, make the airplane go where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about anything else. Just make the airplane go where you want it to go.
Yeah, and put it there.
Yeah, just visualize. In a word, visualize it.
Yep.
Visualize your maneuver, and then just make the plane
Yeah.
fly those lines.
Many things in the middle of a maneuver, you're going to be behind the airplane if you have too many things on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true.
Just fly the shape, you know.
Exactly.
See, Bob, that's why I'm so lucky. I can't get one thing on my mind at a time.
So
Lord.
what I found about that, as I was trying to do this visualization, you know, I was trying to visualize the maneuver way ahead of the plane, right? And wait for the plane to come in so I can fly on it, right? But then I realized that you don't have enough peripheral vision to do that. It's not possible. You barely have enough vision in front of you to do a single loop or a single triangle or a single square or something like that. And then you cannot do it in advance, you know, because by the time you try to do it, the plane is already there, you know. So you're very late at the punch, and then you switch over to the, to the sequencing stuff like that. But what I found out, I've been trying to do to see what it might work for myself, and it's that move the maneuver with me, and the plane is lagging just a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as I stop here, and then the plane comes in, right?
Yeah.
Rather,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. So I think that's and what I found out also is that when I do this, I put the plane in the same spot almost every. It's very, very consistent to the point. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched that Racing the Sunset video. If you pay attention to the clouds in the sky, you're gonna see I'm hitting the same spot in the cloud every time. And I'm not focusing on the clouds or anything like that, and you can see it even in triangular maneuvers and stuff like that. I was slowing down. I was doing frame by frame to see where I turned, and I was comparing where the little tiny puff of cloud on the sky, and man, I was nailing it.
He did. I watched that pretty close after he told me about that the first time, and he did.
There's so much to the stunt flying thing. You know, when you can watch other people fly, but you can't watch yourself fly. Your hands are kind of full of airplane when you're flying. There's no way to watch yourself fly. You know,
No.
and even video doesn't do it. The frame acquisition or the way a video camera sees it is not the way your eye sees it. You can get certain things out of a video and intersections and relative heights and things like that. But it's interesting that the only time you're actually watching yourself fly is when you're flying the maneuver. So you can't see the whole thing as if you're watching someone else fly a maneuver from outside the circle.
You fly segments. You see segments. That's right.
You know, so you can actually hurt yourself by watching other people fly too much.
I see. Speaking about watching other people flying, did you guys watch the videos from the Bob's contest?
Yeah.
The before the ice and the traced videos.
Yeah.
And I was watching them, and I was like, holy smokes. And those are the experts, right?
Try to fly that sometime with one of that tracing. You'll see just exactly how humbling it can be.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Yeah, I watched Bobby's flight, and I've watched Bobby fly enough times that I know how he flies. And I watched his flight and the tracing, and I was stunned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or who was the top dog in at your contest? Was the Joe Daly, right?
He won by 2 points over Rick Huff. Rick Huff won the first round with the twin, and then Joe Daly got him by 2 points in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, his second flight, Joe Daly's second flight, was very, very nice.
Yeah.
Even look at the tracing, you know, kind of fat on the
Joe
squares.
Daly can fly.
Yeah, kind of fat on the squares and stuff like that, and some flats over there.
there was something I was talking to someone about yesterday afternoon that I wanted to relate to everybody here, because it's something that I think very few people think about when they're flying the pattern or when they're learning the pattern. And I'll go to another discipline. Violinists, concert violinists study physiology. They study the muscles and the tendons and how things stretch and how things move in order to be able to play the instrument properly. Well, in stunt flying, and I want everybody to try this while we're here. If you're facing your airplane and you're going to do, let's say, a horizontal 8, okay? And you're facing the airplane and you do the first loop. So everybody do the first loop, okay? Now, you see how easy your arm moved?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
if you're right-handed, nice and easy, right?
Yeah.
Now, go over and do the outside loop.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
the other one's
what
gonna
you
bind
feel in
you.
your arm?
Yeah, yeah.
And what happens to most people? They tighten up the outside portion because their muscle gets tight, and it forces that maneuver to get the outside maneuver to get smaller than the inside maneuver.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely
So-
right.
Yeah,
So the way around that is to not face the airplane when you're doing the maneuver, but to turn your shoulder sideways to the airplane. Now try that. Turn your shoulder sideways.
that's the way
Now-
Al Raby used to fly.
And now there's no tightness in your arm either way, is there?
No.
No, that's the way
Wow.
Al Raby used to fly, out to his side.
There you go.
Wow.
I always thought it looked funny, but that makes sense.
Wow,
You
Bob, that's
you
amazing.
gotta go through the pattern without the airplane and find out where you can fly the airplane without having your muscles tense up and pull, more one way than they do the other way. And
Wow.
that'll help your flying.
I'll be darned.
See that? I can see
That
that.
is amazing, Bob. That is really amazing.
But I have to say, when you got an airplane, you really trust the way it flies. You know, the kind you can look away and it'll still go where you want it to go. That the 8s become quite easy because you just relax and let the airplane fly it.
Yeah, but if your muscles tense up, if they're looser one way than they are the other way, it's going to
Oh,
affect it's going to affect the shape of the maneuver.
Fingertips are going to tighten up too.
You're right. You're right. I just found that with that All-American Eagle that I've got, it flies so well in the rounds that I can really relax.
Yeah.
And when I relax, my muscle doesn't tighten up. If I make, and I'm notorious for making that outside loop smaller because that muscle tightens up. I'm notorious for that. But I don't do that with that All-American Eagle, and that's because of the way it's trimmed and the way it flies.
And
But
all this,
having said all that, I'm going to try your way. I'm going to try it off to the side.
well, no, it's not necessarily my way. It's just something that, that I picked up from other disciplines. Playing guitar is the same thing. There's certain things when I'm playing guitar, that stretch muscles that you learn how to hold it a different way or something. All of a sudden it becomes easier to play. Well, the same thing with stunt flying. You got to kind of experiment, and each person's a little different. So you got to dry fly the airplane without the airplane. You got to dry fly the pattern and find out and be very critical about where you're feeling your muscles tense up or stretch. And then you got to find a position where that doesn't happen.
That's interesting. Now, what about the overhead 8s? You just lay down on your side.
With that,
So on the overhead 8, you just lay down on your side.
Just become Dave Fitzgerald, learn how to do it. An
I'm the wrong
exaggerated
guy to ask about overhead 8.
David Fitzgerald does not look
no.
like he's even watching the airplane when he does his overhead 8. He's amazing.
Yeah. He and Ted Fisher do the best overhead 8s.
What works for me when I do the overhead 8s is like, imagine a line through your crotch to your nose, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So that's your reference, right?
Yeah.
And the more you move your head around, the more you lose your reference, right? So
Yeah.
you just look straight up, use your peripheral vision, and as you look over there, you can see a round. If you visualize, you can see a round loop over here. Just put it on the tracks, change, put it on the other tracks, change and every time you come here or over here, it's kind of like this. You just kind of like,
Yeah.
it's a fake feeling like it's going here, right? As it
Yeah.
comes up, boom.
John-
I
John
understand what you're
Sunderland-
saying, but when I do the overhead 8, I do feel distinctly how much it, as I'm crossing my chest to do the outside part of the overhead 8. And so that really, I definitely can identify with what Bob Hunt's saying, that my muscles are really being tightened, compressed on the outside portion of the overhead 8. Just because, and I have to deliberately make sure I cross my
you don't
over
you
to-
don't want to stay like this when you do overhead 8s. You want to stay like this. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your hand can go anywhere.
Yeah, but it's still gonna you have to cross your chest to do the outside part. Maybe
No,
because you're
I don't.
left-handed,
I'm so
maybe-
what? I mean,
maybe it's different because you're left-handed, but being
same
right-handed,
for you. You are on the opposite side, right?
it's to me it's different on the
I mean, I have to cross on my insides, right? I'm not crossing on the outside. You're
John
not
Sunderland-
crossing on the inside, but you're crossing on the outsides.
I think,
You know what I
I
mean?
think it was John Sunderland who gave me the answer to doing overhead 8s better. And I was having a hard time with that maneuver. And I think it was John Sunderland who said, make the handle when you're going up. I'm gonna see if I get down low enough. You can see it. With the handle, it goes right through your nose. And you fly off peripheral vision and come right back up through your nose every time. You know, fly off your nose, and then you'll hit the intersection every time.
But look,
And
Bob, you never moved your head. You
I never move
always
my head. I
look-
fly off peripheral
Exactly.
vision. That one you can
Exactly.
fly. And the other thing that you notice off those tracings, and I noticed it right away, that overhead 8s, everybody's doing them too low on the sides,
Mhm.
way too.
Yeah.
They came down way below the 45-degree line.
right.
And I think the one guy who I always thought did them wrong may have been doing it right all along, and that's Wendy Yartnowski. He did these little tiny overhead 8s, and I always thought he was doing them too small. But I'll bet you if you put him on a tracing, you'd find that they were closer to being correct than what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let me catch up on the chat box. Marcel Legrand says, evening, Charles and everyone. And he said to improve the peripheral vision, learn to juggle. And Brent Williams also said, yo, y'all. And I think I'm all caught up.
Well, did oh, fiddlesticks. Did
And Gary-
LeGrand ever send a
Gary's
picture
asleep.
of his completed Pathfinder? I've been gone the last few times, so I just wondered, did he ever send a picture of that
I
completed
don't,
Pathfinder?
well, John
Haven't
is
seen
the
him yet.
one
He had to go back to work.
Oh, okay.
Gary's asleep.
As
I have
beautiful
one.
as he builds, I want to see that thing when he finishes it.
Can I share
He's
something?
Yeah, I already got it
Yeah,
set
no.
up. Go ahead and share.
Since we're to the overhead 8s stuff. Let me
Yeah.
see your screen right there.
Yeah. The other thing that those tracings showed was that everybody's starting the clover too low.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's not my problem. I usually start kind of high.
Well, you may be doing it right.
Maybe.
All right. So you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. This is my overhead 8. Did I miss it? No, yeah, here it
No
comes.
sound though. There's no sound.
That's
Ooh,
too
you
low.
went
Too low.
Way too low.
Way
a
too
little
low.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Way
But
Oh,
the
you're-
intersections are good.
But the intersections are good and it's the same place every time.
that's hard to do.
Whoa. Came down kind of low.
Flying too low is an error. You do the same errors every time because they're right over top of each other.
Yeah, I
Don't
know.
worry
They
about it.
just-
Everybody else is doing the same thing too. So
And this
Yeah.
is the clover. Watch this intersection here.
Now the one thing which
you missed that one.
I think it should be more of a cross because you're ascending and descending, whether you're going from left to right or left to
Yeah, it looks
Left,
like
right.
that. Yeah. I'm not sure if.
it needs to be a cross.
Yeah.
Hey Dennis, thanks for coming in.
The clover leaf is as much a square maneuver as it is a round maneuver.
Right.
I actually finally figured out how to fly the thing when I started thinking of it as 4 boxes. and start flying a circle inside each of the 4 boxes.
Mhm.
And I know that makes no sense, but it somehow
No,
clicked with me. I don't remember who told me to do that. I think it was Tom Looper.
Like I said,
But
but when you
he
get
said-
to the bottom of the box, you got to level out and fly it as if it's a straight line.
Yeah,
If you,
So curve, it's
if you-
it's not the flats.
yeah,
it
if
really
you watch
is.
the
That's
if you watch the video tracing, almost everybody's entering way too low.
way
The
too-
4-leaf clover, way too low, and the
Mhm.
first loop is way too small as well. That was something I did, and I need to work it out of it. And another thing that they never do, they never fly the flats because there's a cross in the center. We have okay.
We
So
were just talking about
so
that.
yeah, the 4-leaf clover has a cross in the center, which is flown either vertical or horizontal, depending in which direction you go.
Just saying, Tran, we were just talking about that. That it's more of it's as much a square maneuver as it is a
Mhm.
round maneuver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's about the
Exactly.
flats.
Yeah.
Locking on the flats, make it look better. And ironically, or, serendipitously, the new way of doing the clover, pulling up through the center, will actually make you climb high enough to do the first maneuver, the first loop at the proper height.
Yep.
So I
Oh,
think
that's
it's gonna
interesting.
in
Yeah.
that respect too. How many people have flown the new one?
I had not tried it yet.
How do you like it, Denny?
Pardon me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you, brother Denny.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do is, and I've made my comment on that too, is I really think it needs to start at level flight, round into that first cross. It needs to be a continuous extension on it. Like everybody's talking, it's basically 4 loops on a cross, and a cross, just like in the square loops aren't defined by the corners, they're defined by the sides.
That's right.
That's one of the things I know you've been preaching for a long time and everything like that. It's dead on. The clover is the same way.
Yep.
You go watch, I don't know, my dad was a killer on this, and I guess I picked that up on him. Everybody messes up the vertical intersection on the clover, and I think the new way of flying it is going to make it better for both the flyer and the judges to see when that's happening.
Yep.
So everybody does the first loop all right. They come around and they don't go up far enough, and then they come up and they
Oh
run
yeah.
the first loop. You can see that on top 5 day. You can see that 8 out of 10 clovers are done that way. And nobody gets it right. But now you're going to have that hard definition on that line, and if you miss it, everybody's going to see it. All right.
Including the judges.
And no one heartbeat. So
Yep. I see people doing this. They do a loop, and as soon as they finish the loop, they're going immediately in the outside loop, and just they're cutting through the halfway through the first loop.
yeah, they don't define the first flat, which gets them into trouble with the rest of it.
Yeah, and that goes back to the idea of where we're setting the intersection the way we're doing it right now is only one little point at the left-hand side of the first loop. It's a point, is at the intersection. This way, we're going to be climbing up through the intersection, defining it for ourselves and unfortunately for the judges. But we should be able to then fly better intersections in that maneuver.
Also, we'll have the loops the right size.
Right. And they'll all be symmetrical. Instead of one odd loop, we'll have 4 symmetrical loops.
Right.
The only
But for the
trouble,
contest, Bob, do you allow people to do the new entry or?
It won't be legal until January 1st.
Okay.
yeah, the only trouble I'm having so far is my
But that question did come up, Charles. Everybody asked, can we do the new entry? And I said, no, you can, but you're going to get killed in points, because that's not the entry we're flying right now.
I got 56 years experience of doing it the old way, so I'm having a hard time just getting it in my thick skull to start it, the new way. That's the biggest problem I'm gonna have.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Next year, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna climb up and say, oh, shucks. And I have to dive back down to level 5.
But
The
put $1 in
only thing I see with it is is at where you start that first loop.
Mhm.
Nobody can hit the right, you know,
Right.
you gotta be what,
What?
60 something degrees?
What?
No.
That's where you start.
No, it's
your-
just
that's where you
a
start
little
your
bit
loop.
smaller than a normal loop. Just a little bit smaller than a normal loop. Same entry.
Well, it's half the
When you're
diameter of
coming
the
up
loop.
straight, you can't start that loop till that very outside corner. You gotta come past 45 up to here and then start that. The
Right.
flats are on the other part.
It's half the diameter of the loop. Is a straight line where, and then you start the loop at the half.
No, it's exactly the diameter of the loop.
Okay.
And
The
that's-
point where it's at the intersection is half the diameter of the loop up. You come up, then you go around.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, where I'm seeing everybody, they're not starting it in the right place up here. You know, so that they make this funny looking loop to come back out at 45.
That letter
You
E.
start it too soon, it's real
It's never-
funky looking.
It's never been at
It's hard to
40
hit that spot.
It's never been at 45. 45 has never been part of the loop.
Well, it's what, 42 and a half or whatever.
8 or something, yeah, exactly.
But what I'm saying is that you watch where people start that first loop. And if they're a little bit high, a little bit low, man, it really screws up the look of that first loop. Bad.
Yeah.
Now, how many people know where the clover ends?
Over.
It used to be, well, they changed it to overhead. It used to be
No, I think it's the
at the
intersection
intersection.
where the maneuver actually ends.
It was at 45 degrees before it ended. At the end,
Okay.
or 42.8.
That's where now it's back to that again.
I thought that was overhead.
It
I
used
see
to
you,
be.
Howard, by the way. I see your hand, Howard. I'll be right with you.
Yeah.
It's overhead now. If you look it up in the rules, it ends overhead.
Howard,
but-
you muted anyways.
So technically, you could go up to overhead and then turn 90 degrees, come down to level flight as if you're a portion of a wing over, and they shouldn't downscore it, right?
Right.
Right.
Will
But
they?
do.
Yeah.
Well, they probably.
Because there's an exit path that goes over the top of the circle, and it shows it.
Unless
Yeah, but if you got any wind blowing, you'd be safer just to go straight on over than trying to turn right there. You're gonna.
Well, I'm just throwing little things out to see how many people, put the,
Well,
how many
it's
people
up to
actually
the-
read the whole book,
Yeah,
So,
it would
guys,
end-
let me,
it should
guys,
end
let me
right
interrupt for a
straight overhead.
second. Let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Howard has had his hand raised for
Go
some
ahead, Howard.
time. And Howard has a question.
That's back to overhead aids. I was just going to say that Charles Carter does a splendid overhead aid. Or
Thank
did
you.
when
very
I
much.
was with.
I did that once and you happened to observe
Maybe
it.
once,
Very much,
yeah.
Howard.
It was
He did
good.
it. He did it once, Howard, by mistake.
Put your hand down, Howard.
I was judging.
I'll fix
All right,
it
I'll
for
put
you.
my hand down then.
Charles,
Yes.
I have a friend here who has flown a stunt wagon, one flight. He will not fly another stunt wagon because on that one flight, he landed it perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't want to ruin that
Tom-
record.
Tom Looper and I have flown stunt wagons hundreds of flights apiece, and we've got some perfect landings, but we've got a lot of boingies too. Stunt wagons are known for that, but Terry will not touch a stunt wagon because he's flown one time, and he greased that sucker in, and Tommy and I just looked at each other and said, "Where the heck did that come from?"
Yeah.
But anyway,
And by the way, Howard, thank you very much for that 40-point score. I really appreciate that. Or 38. It was really high. I forgot what the
Yeah,
score was, but thank you very much.
Well, that's what I saw.
That's what you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was at the Golden State several years ago.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody that if they've seen my scores, lately I've been having like terrible scores. I mean, like one contest at the VSC, I think last year it was like 75 points.
75.
Well, it's a long story. I didn't get the pattern in, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the last contest, I didn't get the pattern in either, and I think that was around 170 something. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
Lord.
I haven't been prepared, or I've flown other people's planes, I've had some issues, but yeah, so I got to get back to where I used to fly pretty good.
Charles, just look at it this way. At least you're still flying, brother. I ain't
Yes.
been able to fly in 11 weeks and it's killing me.
Oh, I know. It's I haven't done a pattern in a while, but anyway, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt the flow, but I just wanted
Oh,
to
that's
thank
all right.
Howard for his kind words and his great score.
Yeah,
I'll
same
tell you
here.
what.
I haven't flown in a while either.
I haven't
Yeah.
flown
Well, I got.
for an hour or two.
Oh,
Yeah, it's nice when you have a circle in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great, man.
Do you fly in your helipad?
No,
Oh,
it's
you
not big
do?
enough.
Well, what the hell would you do if a helicopter went to land?
I don't fly there. I fly in the Circle One out back.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you flew on the helipad.
No.
Well, you know, I was thinking about having it before the snow flies contest here. It'd just be me, you know, because I don't have anybody close by. And my buddies up north won't drive down this far. So, but you know what? Tonight we're getting 4 to 12 inches of snow.
Wow.
At night?
Hang on, guys. It's headed towards you back there in the central and the eastern shores.
Oh, Lord.
Can I tell you a simple answer for that? You keep it. We don't want it.
It's coming your way.
I'm glad
We don't want it.
Snow flies contest.
Bob,
We absolutely don't want it.
Bob, who
You know, when I was
was-
working, I had to run a snowplow every year, and that was the thing I hated. When I retired, the year I retired, we got 18 inches of snow. And it was so nice to be able to think, I don't have to get in the stinking snowplow night. Lord, that was nice.
Well, what'd you have to do it twice a year?
No. Well, twice a year, but it was usually lasted a week. You know, it was usually 5 or 6 days in a row. One time it was 11 days in a row. Just about time we got the whole city cleaned the first time, it snowed again. And we don't just get snow, we get snow and ice.
I remember here in Utah, 1949, I was just a kid, you know, going first grade, I think, or kindergarten, one of the two. And we had a snowstorm to beat all snowstorms. They had to bring the rotary plow out to clear the roads. It was that deep. The wind blew it up and piled it up. And it was in some places 12, 14 feet deep.
Yeah, I know that. That one year, we had that snowstorm and it was over my head. I was only a month old, but it was still over my head.
But you were standing then? Or was that laying on your back?
I think when I was in grade school, I can't remember what grade, we had a snowstorm every Wednesday, put us out of school Thursday and Friday, 3 weeks in a row. But that's been a while.
But that was hard.
But I was up in Tom Rammel's
We don't give a shit,
country.
Charles.
I was up in Tom Rammel's area of the country, and I was up there as a national service tech, and it snowed 6 feet. 6 feet of snow. I thought, well, I ain't gonna have to worry about going anywhere in the morning, so I didn't even set my alarm clock. Well, I woke up at 7 o'clock anyway, and I got up, looked out the hotel window, and I thought, all I'm gonna see is white. Minnesota had the roads clear by 9 o'clock.
Yep.
That just ain't even right. That just ain't right.
Hey, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Have you tried that Painter's Choice yet?
No, sir, not yet. I'm not able to do anything right now. I can't. I had an MRI Thursday, and I go tomorrow to talk to the doctor to find out what they're going to do or what they can do. But they say I got 2 or 3 bulging discs in my neck, and I've got some arthritis, and it sounds like I've got some kind of cavity is pinched or something, or I don't know what they're going to do. But I was talking to one of the doctors, and he said, "You were a lineman, weren't you?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Were you in the bucket or on the ground?" I said, "Well, for the first 10 years, I was in the bucket. For the last 20, I was on the ground." He said, "That's what's wrong with your neck. 20 years of looking up."
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I went to the doctor. I got this huge bulging disc. I mean,
You're like
it's
me, Steve.
crazy.
All your problems are before you. All mine were till I got this sore neck. That's, He asked me what I did to hurt myself. I said I looked up. What? I said I looked up. There's an airplane overhead, and I looked up. I didn't tell him it was a model airplane, and I didn't tell him I was flying. I just said there was an airplane overhead, and I looked up. When I did, my neck popped, and I about went to my knees. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. It's easy
Bob.
to get hurt.
Bob, can I
Well,
ask you a
I would-
question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, who took second on the contest behind Daly?
Rick Huff
Oh, Rick Huff. Thank you.
with the Bel
Flying his
Air.
twin.
Yeah, the Bel
Flying
Air.
his twin. Yeah, that's nice.
That's one heck of a good flying airplane. It's one of the best flying airplanes I've ever flown in my life.
We'll
So
finish
now-
yours. It will be too. Yours is just like it.
It's the same exact airplane, really.
Yeah,
His
that's what I mean.
profile, mine's a full body, but it's got the same wing, it's got the same nacelle length and everything. It's
Mhm.
basically the same airplane, but it really flies good. And it's the only twin that I think has actually eclipsed Gordon Delaney's. This actually flies quite a bit better than Delaney's, which was up to that point one of the best airplanes I've ever flown in my life.
What
I think-
was the name of Delaney's airplane?
What's that?
Pathfinder Twin.
Pathfinder Twin.
Another dollar.
Ching.
Cha-ching.
It was a great airplane, phenomenal airplane.
What was it,
You know who
Bob?
has it now, don't you?
What's that?
You know who has it now?
You.
I think.
No, take a bow, Howard.
Yeah, Howard has it. It's a Pathfinder
Oh, okay.
Twin, Phil.
Oh, okay.
And
It
it's
really
red.
is a Pathfinder Twin. I thought they were joking.
Oh,
No,
no.
Be darned.
Oh, it's a good airplane.
Yep.
But
Well, I
Rick
hope to
Huff-
eventually have an electric version of it, but I don't know when I'll be able to build it.
Huff's is even better. It turns like nothing on the planet. I mean, it just has a corner that's just blinding.
You got to fly a Revolution. I got to get up with you and get you to fly the Revolution one time. You're going to be amazed. If it flies anything like it did before the crash, you have got to fly this airplane. Trayan has a masterpiece going here.
Mhm.
This thing is amazing.
I've seen it fly. It's good airplane.
Oh, you've seen it fly? Okay.
When are you gonna make that into a twin, Tryon?
But Rick Huff's airplane turns like twice as tight.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
Wow. I got to
That
see
airplane
this.
just, it seemingly rotates on its own axis. It's just amazing how tight it turns. Now, we all know they don't do that. And if you slow them down on video, you're going to have a curve. You see it on the tracings. But man, the illusion is, and the feeling is like it's just turning on its own length.
You know,
Wow.
Delaney's.
You are going to eventually publish this, aren't you, Bob?
Publish it where? I don't work it for anybody anymore.
Well, make a set of plans and I'll buy a set.
No, that's all. I'm retired, dude.
Delaney's
Oh.
twin had that effect, Bob. That big Gemini twin,
Mm-hmm.
it would come down, it would like, you'd get where it had to turn, it would stop, turn, and then fly away from it.
I
That's
flew
what
that
it
airplane.
looked like it did.
I flew that airplane. It was a good airplane. Let me tell you, it's not even in the same league as Huff's airplane.
Oh, no, I understand. But at the time, it was probably one of the best twins around.
Oh yeah, You get back at that, and of course it was another one of those that would pull your tendons out of your arm.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Well,
want to
that's
make
pretty
your
good.
airplane look like it turns faster, turn it closer to the ground. I'm serious.
Well, yeah.
When you get the ground in with it, optical illusion, it looks like it turns faster.
If you get closer to the ground and the airplane doesn't turn tight, you're going to go into the ground.
Right. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is that if you pull out at 6 foot or you pull out at 3 foot, the 3 foot turn looks faster. I've seen Samantha do the same turns. Closer you get to the ground, faster it looks like it turns.
Well, the more adrenaline's there too, actually, So.
It makes you pucker and
I think
everything.
that's I think that's a panic. But,
Bob,
Yeah.
you ever saw my video when I was doing a video called "Racing the Sunset"?
No.
You want
You
to see
need to watch
something?
that sometime.
You want to see something? Is it
Yeah.
okay if I share that?
Yeah, go ahead and share it. But hang on for a second before you share it. I have a question. You know what I aesthetically like is when I see a plane, when it turns, the tail drops, like it stops and pivots and goes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is that what everybody else likes too? I mean, I've seen planes where they do a nice round turn, but when I see the tail drop and the plane,
Yeah, it's
that's-
pivoting.
is that what Rick
When you-
Hobbs' plane does? Does this tail drop?
Yeah.
And
Well, it doesn't drop, but the illusion is that way, you know.
Mhm.
If
Right.
it doesn't tail drop, then it looks like your squares look like round maneuvers, and you don't
look
get the scores. You don't get the good scores.
They look swoopy.
Yeah.
Here you go. You
All
guys
right.
see this?
let me, I can't see it yet, but everybody else might, but I got to do a change here for me to see it.
All right.
Well, it looks like a bislub.
No, that's a revolution.
I know, I was just teasing.
There
So
are
you
very
want
square corners.
you want to see a turn, Bob? Watch this.
Yeah, that's normal. That's I don't see how that's any you know, exceptionally tight, you know. I mean, it's acceptable for sure.
But it's sure a lot better than some of those I've seen traced where we got a real short level section.
Mhm.
Put a tracing on that and you'll see something different.
I would love to see it. But you can see it. Look, turns, go straight, turns. I mean, it just this
Yeah, but you can see
well-defined straight line.
You can see the radius of the turn there. I mean, you know, I'm not trying
No,
to put
but
it
I'm
down.
looking at how long the straight lines are. You know, that's what I was talking about. It's like the straight lines are just going on and on before it turns.
Okay, well, if you say so. I mean, it doesn't look any different to me than any of the good airplanes I've seen, but you know, it's a good airplane. I'm not saying it's not a good airplane. I'm just saying it doesn't look any more spectacular to me than anything else I've watched. And certainly Rick's is unbelievable.
You need to finish yours so we can see what it does. Yours
Yeah.
is the one that's got retracts too. That should really be cool.
The new one,
And the one thing which is kind of hard to see, Tryon, is that the angle of the sides it's not going totally vertical. So it might be, but the
Yeah,
camera
because
angle-
of the camera that I
camera
had
is
on my.
not, so we're not really able to see, at least I can't
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
how
I
good
know.
it's turning because the side is at an angle instead of going totally straight down. So it would be more impressive if
I'll tell you, when you guys are watching anybody fly and you want to see how, am I still on or not?
yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
Your big screen.
Yeah.
Oh, it says stick to 40-minute time limit.
I don't know why it says that, but you're fine. Keep going. Don't keep. You're
Right.
fine.
Well, if you watch somebody fly a square 8 and then fly all the corners, and then when they finish that top one where they flatten back out, it'll be twice as sharp as all their other corners. And I always tell Samantha, if you could turn your corners like you turned that last one on all of them, you'd be closer to 40 points.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
I don't
noticed
know
a
why.
lot of them on that last
I
corner.
do that
Bill.
too. I don't know why. It's like when I have my hand will do some and I'll get a tighter corner in that last corner.
Everybody does.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
definitely do.
I need my plane to turn, you know, Samantha's like, I wish it turned a little quicker. And I'm like, that last corner there is, you can't go no quicker than that. It like it flops over. And it's like, you have it in your handle. You just got to use it.
It could be also because the airplane is slower at that point. It has less inertia. And if you kick it through that corner, it's not going to widen the turn because it's not going so fast. It's slowing down at that point.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
she
I've
made
always
that.
thought
She
that
makes
was.
that corner 2 other times and doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's
I don't
You know
know.
what I'm saying? She has to come up and make that corner twice, and it doesn't do it. It's that last one when she finished, and I watch everybody that flies. I don't care who it is. That last corner, they come up there and they flop it over like it just quit flying.
yeah, but that's the 8th corner though.
Yeah, you don't even have to do that corner because it's already ended. But I'm telling you, you watch that videos and stuff. and they'll really turn that last corner super sharp.
Easy.
Yeah,
Howard, what do you think about the fact that when you're climbing at the end of that maneuver, you go up to the vertical, the last vertical, and you make that corner, the airplane is slowing down, so it doesn't have the inertial effect, and it can turn a quicker corner, or seemingly or visually turn a quicker corner because it's not going so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Bob, you have to turn that same corner in that
I
maneuver.
understand that. I'm just trying to get a handle on why that one corner would be quicker than a bottom corner. Bottom corner, the airplane's accelerating to a degree. I don't care what airplane it is. It's going to be going a little faster, and you're going to have some inertial effect, which will make the airplane turn wider.
It's the weight of the plane. It's the weight of the plane, Bob.
I
On
think
the
it
top,
is.
on
Your
the top
mind
one.
knows you're
Can I,
not being
can I
let's
scored.
let Howard
finish?
answer the question.
Can I finish?
Bob asked Howard a question. Let
Yeah.
Howard respond, please.
Yeah, I think so. One thing, now, as Steve said, though, there are two other corners in the same place, but it could be that the airplane is even slower for that last corner than it is for the previous
Right.
corners at the top.
I
But
think
yeah,
it's-
the corners. If I've looked at some of these traces and of a person who flies a heavy airplane, and the coming down corners, the path is bigger. The radius is bigger on the
Yeah.
corners, like at the bottom of a square loop. The coming down is bigger than the going up. And you can rotate the airplane and give the illusion that they're all the same radius, but the traces show a little different.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
tracings will make them, make humble people out of all of us.
Yeah, it tells me that I need a lighter airplane.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, Tryon, go ahead and finish, Tryon. I know I
Okay.
interrupted you. Go ahead.
So what I want to say is, let's start with a loop, for example, right? Let's assume that loop is even on the vertical plane, it's not on a sphere, right? Which accentuates and actually was gonna make things even more, if the loop would be in a horizontal plane, you'd pull on a regular about 7.8 to 8 G's of force to just hold that plane on a loop, right? But now when you take the loop and make it vertical, you're going to find out that at the bottom, you have the weight of the plane working against you. So actually you're pulling 9 G's plus 1 G, right? While on the top, you're putting minus 1 G. So it's a 6 G's on the top, right? So is the weight of the plane. So that's why the same analogy can be done with the corners, right? On the bottom, you have the weight of the plane that you have to lift it and turn it, while on the top, the weight is pulling it down, right? And helps you do a much faster corner on the top.
That's what we were
But when
talking
you
about.
come down, you have to, yeah.
But what I'm saying is you did 2, you do 3 of them. You do 2 in the maneuver and 1 when you're just flying out when it doesn't count. And what I'm saying is that it's a mind thing that everybody does that real quick corner, and Samantha does them all the time because she doesn't have to be afraid she's going to bobble that to overturn that corner. It doesn't matter what it looks like, and she'll hammer that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say it's a mind thing because you're doing 2 corners to the right, and that the 2 at the top going right would be as tight as the 2 to the left as the finishing corner. The plane isn't slowing down. So if you did 1 more of them, I guess it would just stop.
Well, it might be a mind thing, but it's a fact, that the corners on the top are much easier to turn tight because the weight of the plane helping you.
Right.
And the turns on the bottom of the squares are a little bit harder because you have more mass to contain.
Right. We were talking about that before, inertial. It's
Yeah.
inertial thing with the weight.
Yeah.
Another way of saying
well,
it.
it's but if it's a mind thing
But
or whatever,
you also
it
have more
also.
elevator and flap effect too, because you're going faster. You have more air going over that.
It creates lift.
No, it's moment of inertia. The faster you fly, the harder it is to turn, regardless. You have a lot more. If you look at the centrifugal force, is mass times the velocity squared.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an exponential increase in force that you need to do the faster you fly.
Which is why these active timer systems are making it better, because we're slowing the airplane down, just like a 2-4 brake in a glow motor, slowing the airplane down coming downhill, which takes some of that inertial effect away.
Yeah.
Ah, can't wait.
Yeah, ideally you want to hit the brakes real hard as you come down, slow the plane significantly to get the same corner that you can get on the top with a much higher speed.
So does a carbon fiber prop slow you down more than a wooden prop? Like carbon fiber brakes slow you down faster?
Well, a light prop. A good thing you mentioned prop, because a big part of this thing with these active timers, a huge part of it is the weight of the propeller. There's inertia in the propeller too, and you're going to be able to slow it down quicker or speed it up quicker, and you need a lighter prop in order to do that. The lighter blades will enable you to speed the blade up quicker and to slow it down quicker.
I was going to ask Howard something, because on his ESCs, he doesn't set the limit for the RPM.
Right.
And I was always taught that a turning propeller actually will act as a brake when because it's like a disc. It's turning so fast. If you slow the propeller down, it actually slows the airplane down, because that disc is acting as a brake. So if you limit stop your RPM, say, to go down to 7,000, no lower than that, or if you let it, like these other ones, will go into freewheel, and you lose that brake of the propeller coming down, because now it's just freewheeling like you do on a helicopter or whatever. It slows you down, but not as much as something that is spinning faster. See what I'm saying?
Well, it seems like spinning faster would still be digging air, so it would make it go faster.
It accelerates going down if it's going faster.
Yeah,
you have to slow it down. The prop has to be turning slower than the airstream that it's going through would make it go.
To act like a brake. So that's why I'm saying, if you're doing 9,000 and you drop it to 2,000 less, that would be a hell of a difference in speed.
That would be, but there is a 424 mode on some of the timers, some of the electric setups. You can actually set them up to do that.
Yeah, sensitivity. You play with the sensitivity.
It's in the sensitivity.
And you are going to get it. That being said, I don't think
sensitivity. You play with the upper number and the lower number and the sensitivity.
Yeah.
Right. But what I was talking to Alamoff, and he was saying that, and I don't know what ESC he was using or whatever, and he says when you see the amperage go to 0 whatever, he goes, that's freewheeling, and that prop, you're not getting the slowdown effect. And that's what he was saying about the timer. He goes, the timer has to go down to like 5,000 and stop, or 4,000. It can't go into the freewheel, because it goes to 0 amperage, because it's, it doesn't want any more speed, and it keeps ramping it down until it's 0. So then the prop is just freewheeling until you make that corner, then it hits full power again.
Steve, when that little control line plane out of the gyro, that prop that it's on is freewheeling all the time.
Yeah. And
the faster the motor drives it, the faster that freewheels, because it's acted on by the stream of air that it's going through. So if you slow the motor down, it slows down, but it slows down because it's braking. It doesn't accelerate from the big prop. It accelerates from the smaller engine-driven propeller. Well, in the case with an electric motor, even in a freewheeling, it's gonna have a braking. But you may be right in that if you're retarding its ability to turn, so you may be right. I'd have to see it. Somebody play the numbers and put it on a plane.
we're overthinking this a little too much. I mean, you know, anybody how many people have flown an active timer? I mean, Howard has. How many other people have flown one?
I did.
Have one, but haven't flown it yet.
You got to fly one, because then you'll learn how to set it up, and all these questions will be answered. It definitely slows the airplane down coming downhill if you wanted to, and it definitely speeds it up going uphill. And you can adjust that to any point you want both ways.
Right. Yeah, I understand that, but I was asking Howard because I know on his ESC, he doesn't set the lower and top limit. You know,
Set to 80 and 200.
yeah, 80 and 200. You know, to where I set mine at I think 1,000 over and 2,000 under.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm just wondering if the more the prop will free spin, the less you'll have for a disc brake, or you know what, not a disc brake, but the disc spinning that acts like a brake.
Braking effect.
The braking effect of it. So I'm like, where do you want that RPM to end at? Do you want it to freewheel, or do you want it to stop at 7,000 and not go any lower than 7,000? What gives you the biggest break?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
But that being said, you know, it's like I'm not sure I'm buying the disc idea at all, you know, because what's a prop? It's basically a wing, right, that flies in the air. And a wing has if you look at the lift on a wing, is based on the surface area of the wing. So are you telling me the prop, all of the surface area of the prop all of a sudden becomes a full disc surface area?
Yes.
Instead of just the blade itself?
That's what, when we were in
Because it
physics
doesn't make any
class,
sense.
that's what they said, that a spinning prop acts as a disc.
Bad physics class.
Yeah. It doesn't block it.
No, it's a wing at an angle of attack, and you can you get this paper by Adkins and Liebeck. That's the one I use. It shows you what propellers do. There's others. There's balderdash ones on the web. You get that, and then look at if you collect data about what RPM your motor's turning, you can put the two together and see what the propeller is doing. It eventually it'll stall, and then it won't slow the airplane down as much. A freewheeling prop has a lot of drag.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's a disc, but because that the blades are at an angle of attack such that it's putting a force in the wrong direction. It slows the airplane down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they feather the props or stop them on full scale airplanes to reduce drag. Same prop, if you stop it, it has less drag than if you let it freewheel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which
it's because of the surface area of the blade itself.
Right. No, it's because the angle of attack that it's working at, and the surface area of the blade multiplied by the angle of attack. I saw this in Aerodynamics for Naval Aviators. It's a book that Navy pilots look at it, and that was kind of dramatic coming across that piece that shows that the prop has a lot more drag when it's freewheeling than if it's stopped completely.
Yeah, that's why they feather them when the engine fails.
And what RPM does it have the minimum drag? I don't know. You can figure it out. But just go get yourself an active timer and fiddle with it. And see what
that's the key. You want to get the active timer.
Bob said.
The more you play with it, the more you're going to find out what works for you.
Bob, I have a question for you. Do you are running the Fiorati, right?
Yeah, Fiorati. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you explain me some things about the Fiorati timer? Actually,
yes,
it has the same thing as the Igor has, the min max, and it has the sensitivity, right?
Yes.
But in addition to that, has something that's called G-force. What the heck is that?
When you put the G-force on, you can put it on any percentage you want. And my understanding of this is that when you take off, you have the blue light on the side of the airplane. And anytime you have the G-force on and you do any changes at all, it's going to recalibrate every flight. And it takes 3.5 laps to calibrate. And then it will set that level flight centrifugal force, the G-force. And then if you go upstairs and you start to lose any of that G-force, it'll increase the power to hold it out on the lines at that same force, or tend to want to go that direction. It won't get perfectly, but it will tend to give you more pull. At the Nationals this year, it was so windy that a lot of people are having trouble, glow and electric, doing overhead eights. Ask Paul Walker about that. And all of us, right? You were there. All of us had the same problem. All of us turned on that had Fiorati's turned on that G-force thing, and the problems didn't go away, but they got minimized to a great degree.
So how is the G-force working? So I understand once you turn it on, so it's not a 0, right? It goes from 0 to what? I think 0 to something, right?
0 to 10.
I don't know that. I'm more of a feeling kind of guy. I turn it on, and when it works right, I don't question it. I just fly it that way.
No, but I want to know what changes what.
Then get one and try it.
Yeah, but I hate to beat around the bushes, and it's missing the instructions in a manual saying like, hey, if you change this, I understand minimum, maximum, and sensitivity, you know.
I'm going to say before what Tom said, I don't know.
We've been trying it with Samantha, and she says when you don't need it, it doesn't come on. But we fly at a gusty field, and it can be one lap you got wind, and other ones you don't. And when she was doing her overheads, you hear it kick in one time, and then she went through the whole thing, and it never kicked in again.
It'll kick
when
in.
A gust of wind came up, it sensed that, and
so G-force is a modifier, right?
Yeah, it's a modifier.
It's a modifier, okay. And then he has the obviously has the upline, which is also a modifier, right?
The nose up. You can get a certain amount of boost every
Nose
time.
up.
Whether you're going up normal flight or from inverted flight, when the nose goes up, it senses that and will give you a little boost.
A little extra.
Whatever you want. I haven't found that to be as dramatic as the G-force. The G-force thing at first, I didn't even want to try it because I thought it was not necessary. But when I did put it on, now I leave it on 10% all the time. But I'm also running my sensitivity quite high. I'm running my sensitivity up around 35%.
Yeah.
But what we noticed too with the nose up, you can set the nose up, and then if that ain't enough, if say on something that the nose goes up and you got wind, then the sensitivity takes over and keeps going.
Right.
So you can set the nose up for we don't put much in it. It's kind of like a brake when you raise the nose on an IC, where it gives you always know you got that little bit of climbing power.
Yep.
So you always have that. When you come down the bottom, the sensitivity then breaks it, But if it needs more as you're coming up, the sensitivity and all that will then pick up that RPM and keep power.
And if you're losing any G-force, the pull on the lines, then the G-force will kick in and give you some.
Yeah.
So I haven't really figured out what's doing what, but I've figured out enough to know what makes my airplane fly good. And that, to me, that's the bottom line. Knowing some guys have to know why. I just have to know that it's doing it and be happy flying the airplane. And that's kind of how I've always been. I'm more of a feeling flyer than I am a knowledge flyer. When I get it set up and I get it where I want it, it works, and I don't question it.
Okay.
Let me interrupt there. It's a good spot to transition. So I have a couple of comments in the chat box. There was a question earlier about Marcel Legrand's Pathfinder. He says, I ordered 2 spinners, 2 props, 2 tanks from Brodak. So just waiting for them now. It's been 4 weeks and they're sitting in Japan right now. Then we have Nick DeTavio. He says, I enjoy listening to you guys. You are very knowledgeable. Special hello to my friend Bob Hunt. And then Marcel Legrand, he has a question for you, Howard. He says, is there any chance, Howard, we could see a video of the Pathfinder Twin flying one day?
Oh.
Hey, Nick, if Nick is still on there, here's the new muffler going on the Rojet 76 your dad gave me. It's going in a new plane, new muffler, and I still have it.
Hopefully he saw that. And then I have another comment that was earlier said. Let me scroll up. This is from Mike Regel, Bob. He says, yes, those photos, referring to that when you showed those photos a while back, a week or so ago. He says, yes, those photos would make a nice coffee table book. I would definitely buy one.
Well, I'm not going to put them in book form, but I will probably put them on a thumb drive, you know, as many as will fit, because I got thousands of photos, and just to offer them, and I won't be able to caption them. There's just too much work to caption all those photos, but they're nice.
What are they on?
What
were they on, Bob? I've missed the last few. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I just did a little photo montage of some old photos I had. Nick, you missed my contest. By the way, Nick DeTavio, I'm sure most of you know, that's the son of the legendary East Coast stunt flyer John DeTavio. And Nick and I are pretty good friends, very good friends.
To answer he's anything like his old man. He's a good dude.
Yes, he is. Go ahead, Howard.
To answer the question about the Pathfinder Twin, I have no video of it, but I could, if I fly it again, I could take one. There's no contest coming up that has profile. Yeah. So.
That airplane, and I'm sure Howard will agree with me, you can put that airplane, you can fly big, you can fly small, you can make that, you just think that airplane and it goes where it's supposed to go. It's one of those airplanes that's capable of flying any size you want to fly with it. It's just amazing how you can fly a 45 or a tight 45 or open up, and that airplane is always at the end of the lines. It's very pointable, very trackable airplane. It's an excellent airplane.
Okay, you guys know fuel planes and you know electric planes. So if you were doing a Pathfinder Twin, standard Pathfinder Twin, what motors would you put on it? What battery would you use in it?
28, 10 or 28, 14, somewhere in that. Badass pair of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smaller ones, you know, you wouldn't need real big motors on that thing.
Okay, 28 14s. What would you use for a battery?
Probably the one of the new Thunder Power. Of course, it depends on the kV of the motor, but if you Rick's motors he's running on his Twin are 700 kV motors, and they're those little what do you call the drone motors?
Yeah,
and it's hard to find small electric motors at low kVs.
Yes.
So he's able to run a 6-cell battery with that, and he's running a 6S 2200, and he's running both motors off of that 6S 2200, and he's got plenty of time. But now trying to find a standard, and those motors can only be rear mounted. To try to find a standard motor that can be front mounted, model airplane motor, might be a difficult proposition. Denny, have you researched any of that?
Is it 22.4?
Everything you're saying is pretty much right on target. It's the devil trying to find them even over 1,000 kV. It's almost impossible to find a 23.
Yeah, most of the smaller motors are like 800 kV or above.
However, I would say I've been having some luck finding a classic size airplane this last summer just for fun. I was using a badass 2310 with a 10 5.8 prop and a 3S battery pack. And total system weight is the lightest system I've ever had in that class of or turning that prop. And I would definitely look into the 23 motors. I would look into 2 battery packs instead of 1 also. Because I think you can, I don't know if you could do it's always the thing you build more twins than I have. Certainly, I've only built a couple of them. Single packs need a big wiring harness. Dual packs don't. But dual packs are hard to get the right size to where the weight is good. So it's really a tough sell either way.
Yeah, I don't want to put them back out in the cells. That's too much weight outboard.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, that was really difficult to understand. I know when I speak to you
I'm
often,
sorry.
that's much better. Whatever you just did,
Much better.
Can you answer
Oh,
that
it
again?
is. I got a
Not
weird.
necessarily for Bob's benefit, but for our audience's benefit.
Mm.
They might be interested in what your answer was.
So if you use the 28, if you use like a 2812 or 2814,
I'd
they
go
used huh?
I'd go smaller than that.
23.
Yeah. I might think
23.
Dennis to repeat what he said if he could, because he's clearer now. There's the audience is
Go
probably,
ahead, Dennis.
Yeah.
I was just saying that I agreed with Bob about the difficulty of finding small motors in the low KVs suitable for like 6 cell packs and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was the one I used this last summer was actually a 1300 kV, and I used it with a 3S pack, and it was a real happy combination. I'd like to explore that a little farther. I haven't taken it as far as tried to put it in a twin. I would circle back to John. John, you had 15s with turning 8-inch props?
9-inch props, 9/4. And they're turning them, it turns it right between 11, right around 11, 11 and a half to 12.
All right. So you could probably get down to like a 2316 or something like that. Might be the limit on the motor. That would be the lightest motor that you could put on it. And 2320 would be a cinch. That motor wouldn't even get warm. And it's just going to have a devil of a time matching battery packs to KV. So if you can get the low KV motor, you can't get it from Cobra or Badass. I can tell you that. Do you have any idea where Rick got his, Bob? What he's got?
I don't know where he got them, but I do know that they're quadcopter motors.
Yeah, most of the quadcopter motors I've seen are very, very have very low current ratings, and they're happy turning, relatively large props, but very, very slow. And when you load them at all, the currents go up and they'll toast in a hurry. So I'd be curious to see what he got.
I opened up another Google site. I have the Safari Google site rather than my Chrome one. So I'm able to look at the Badass site right now. And the 23 series motors, they're anywhere from 1050 kV, or 1050 kV down to let's see, actually they're 1100.
They're like 870, I think.
All the way down to 8. I think the lowest one is 880 kV. That's a 2315 880.
All I know is that the Fioretti timer works great with 4 cells. We did a 4-cell pack and in the Vector, and I see no difference between that and a 6-cell on the Igor. It works great. I mean, as long as you got the headroom and you get the RPM set right for the prop and stuff like that, I don't see where the voltage makes a big difference in spinning that motor any faster.
I feel a little kick out of more voltage. I don't know what it is. I know that those ion batteries that Dane Martin's selling, a lot of people are using those now, and they all seem. And Paul told me, and so did Joe Daly, that they have definite more kick coming out of the corner. They actually pull harder out of the corner. Now they're 35C motors, so that may have something to do with it, that they give up their power quicker.
Well, I don't know. What is a lithium ion battery? What's the resistance in that battery?
I have no idea.
Because I know some of them ion batteries are down around 11, 12 ohms. And the lower the ohms on a battery, the faster it can react. And so if lithium ions are lower in ohms, it would give it a faster kick.
But you would think it would be able to be charged quicker too. But the fact of the matter is you can't charge them over 1C safely.
And I don't know.
If they would
why
give up
that
their
is.
charge quicker, they would also accept charge quicker, but that's not the case.
There's only a couple lithium ion batteries out there that'll do 35 amps. Most of them around 10. That's about the standard on lithium ions, are about 10 amps. And I have found a couple that'll do 35, but the ones that do 35 are all 2,800. And I don't know if that's a magic number to get 35 amps out of one of the batteries.
These are 2,800 milliamp packs.
Yeah, and that's what I found on the research I done. And that there's only a couple. Was it Panasonic and Sony? There's only a couple of them that, or it's LG and Sony, that make that 35C pack basically, and they're both 2,800s, and I don't know why that is. Why you couldn't go to a 3,000 or a 25 or.
That's what Paul and Will DeMauro and Joe Daly are using. I think even Jose Modesto have all switched over to the 2,800. I think the 35C packs, Li-ions.
Yeah. But to do that, you definitely got to get your amperage down on your setup to where you're not pulling over that 35 amps.
Right.
I mean, it's not like with the Igor setup and, his motor and all that, to where, hell, you're pulling 50 some amps sometimes. I mean, that's why his stuff gets so hot, and that pulls a lot of amperage. You'd have to go with, bigger motor and,
well, they say they do run hotter. There's no question about that. They run hotter than the light polys, but they say it's also tolerable in that particular chemistry.
If you get on these sites with the jets, these guys are making these battery packs, and they print out battery holders that clip around the batteries, so it lets air down the middle of the pack.
Right.
So they're not all tight together. And they're saying that cuts the heat on them batteries by like 40%.
Of course, they're traveling at a high rate of speed, and they probably have better ducting because they don't have a motor in the front of the battery. The battery's sitting up there, and they have ducting comes in and goes over the batteries at a higher rate of speed. They're getting better cooling than we're getting.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm saying if you could get some, no matter what you could get going through the middle of that pack, it would work a lot better.
Well, anyway, we're kind of dominating the conversation into electric. I'm sure other people want to talk about other things. So, interesting stuff.
It's all done.
Yeah.
Let me make you big so everybody can see this.
All right.
All back together, all done.
What is it, Steve?
It is an old, I had a Lightning in a Series 21 40, I can't think of what makes it now.
McCoy. Fester's McCoy.
Yeah, so I took all the parts off of the Series 21 and stuck it in the Lightning case. So it's lighter and
it ought to run like crazy now.
Yeah. So all we had to do was we had to shave 20 thousandths off the inside of the case and double the size of the thrust washer, and everything is fine. It's got great compression, and I should have ran it today, but I didn't. But we'll give it a try. Still weighs 7.5 ounces, even lightening it up like that.
Wow.
So still a little heavy, but it
Now, are you going to be able to run a muffler on that, or it's a engine with no muffler for sure?
no, there's a little hole there in the center.
Okay.
We
the
just-
webbing.
It's not a sub piston port, is it?
It's a bypass.
No, I'm saying it's not a sub piston port motor. In other words, the skirt of the piston
No.
doesn't come past the bottom of the.
Port induction.
No, it's not a port induction
And
or
it's to
whatever.
be able to run a muffler. The sub piston port induction motors, like the Johnsons and things, those are very difficult to run mufflers on.
Yeah, that's the same with the SIG used to sell that RC motor and people turned it into control line motors. It has that button head deal that you gotta, I can't think. It was like a Russian motor or something they used to make. And I know the name of it, but they tried it in control line. But that had that sub induction and it won't go back from idle to full speed.
Yeah.
It'll transition up really good, but you got to step it down to get it down to an idle again. But you take the muffler off and it'll run fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you take an OS, just a standard OS tongue muffler, cut off the ears and round it off, drill a hole in the center and tap that, and then you just screw it on there. And
hey guys, I have to go. My golden retriever needs to go out and do her thing, so I got to go take
Hey,
her
well,
out.
thanks for coming in, Bob. Appreciate you coming in.
Good to see you, Bob.
Discussion, Bob.
And we're going to be
Yeah.
ending the stream in like 9 minutes anyway, so we're almost up against 9 o'clock. So
hurry up and send your money in.
I'm up
Yeah.
against 12 o'clock, so
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have a comment from Gerald Wimmer. Hey, Gerald, it's been a while since I've seen your name. Thanks for coming in. He says, hello, Charles, and those on Stunthangar out there. Lithium ion, aware what they use in power tools, been working well for me, seem to last better.
yeah. Okay, well, listen, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
good night,
Bob.
Bob.
Good night.
Good night, Bob. You take care of yourself,
Bye,
brother.
Bob.
One thing about it is Howard probably has a few extra lithium ions in his car. He could pop a couple of them out, try him out in his airplane.
Yeah. Regarding the Pathfinder and what motor to use on it, well, mine has OS 15 FTs.
Yeah.
But electrifying it, I'd worry about getting the inertias right, the moments of inertia and the products of inertia. And I don't know how you duplicate that with electric. I guess figure it out, but I have to see what Rick Huff does because this is even better. I just do what he did.
No sense reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, he's
No.
got his figured out.
You know, I've been building on that SV11 R. And I had to stop because going through all my stuff in the garage and all that, I couldn't find a lot of things that I needed, and I had no hinges and no ball links or anything like that. Just a lot of stuff that I didn't have that I wanted to have, and so I ordered it all, and I was expecting it to come today. I was all day looking out, watching for the postman,
Oh boy.
listening for the postman, and finally this afternoon about 5 o'clock, I realized, wait a minute, because there's no mail in my box. Wait a minute, today's Columbus Day, no wonder. So I got held off another day of getting anything done. But I expect tomorrow to get, I'm setting off my 60 and 251 stalkers to Tom Dixon, have him replace the bearing because they didn't get put away right when I got injured.
Yeah, they'll take it off the ship and put it on a truck to get to your house now.
Yeah. So anyway, and I'm getting a 66 stalker from him, and I've got Jim Lee is sending me a drill guide for the motor mounts, or to mount the engine with, and I've been trying to figure out how to put a little down thrust in that front with the front already built up, I think I got it figured out how to do it. I'm just gonna have to,
Just use those nylon ones from Brodak. They work.
well, yeah, but no,
But
I'm talking
I
about
made little.
where the fuselage ends and the spinner begins. There's going to be a
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You just got to put a piece on there and sand it down. That's all you can do.
By that, and I got to bring the height of the nose down a little bit to match where the new spinner location will be. But I weighed that fuselage today with the. I'm really impressed with the way they built the fuselage. It's a little over 9 ounces with the excuse me, with the whole fuselage, the canopy area, and the cowling. Now, of course, there's some parts missing that aren't in there. You know, that'll add a little bit more weight. But I imagine that whole fuselage for an SC-11 at 10 ounces, covered, you know, almost ready to go, is not a bad weight.
I don't know.
I weighed
Wait a
the
second.
wings, and the wings with the controls in it, they're at right around 14 ounces. So, and that's covered with that's without the flaps though. So they're probably gonna be about 18 ounces with the flaps. Now, all in all, you know, that's not bad for that big an airplane. So I'm looking forward to getting the parts. And yeah.
John, was this part, is this part cut off of yours?
Make them big so I can see them.
All right.
That goes over the elevator, the stab?
No, mine's got a slit in there. I have to cut it out.
Oh, okay, you can see to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking. I started doping everything.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you can see the white around that.
Yeah.
That is dope. That had glued that on there so tight. I had one crap of a time.
Holy smokes.
Can you know, and I tell you what, that dope was really holding it. And I'm like, what? You know, and you know, it was just tacked on at the bottom. And I glued the whole top.
How'd you get it apart?
With a
Zona saw.
no, I took a surgeon's scalpel, that really super thin blade, and I could see the line, and I just went over and over and over, and then I worked it through, and then I just rocked it and followed it around for like a half an hour, making sure that I didn't screw it up. So I'm still, you know, it'll still have to be filled, but because it didn't cut it absolutely smooth, so I'm gonna have to sand it, and that's gonna leave a little bit of a gap now.
Did you find that little piece that goes between your elevators in the fuselage? Yeah. Okay.
That is really kind of cool because you could stick that up, you know, once you got it done, it automatically sticks out further than the fuselage side, so it acts like the things you glue on the side of it.
Yeah.
What airplane's this?
SV-11.
Oh, okay.
I'm considering. I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I should do it because it'll just take me a bit longer to build. But I have considering making that take part. You know, leaving the wing in one piece. You know, but having so that center section come up on both the wing and do the same thing with the stab and elevator. And you know, I could get one of those cases they ship snowboards in when the snowboarders are going on the airplane to go skiing. I think that's big enough to put the wing and all of that in it, and it's pretty indestructible.
Check
What I think you could do
check
is
the building forum. Mike Elamoff did exactly that with his SV-11. He actually kept the two-piece wing, so he could actually take the two sides of the wing, slide them together, and then bolt it to the fuselage. And then
Really?
he could attach over the top. He got some pictures in the building section on that.
Did he change from the wood joiners that come
I
in
don't
the
think
kit?
so. I think he kept the wood.
Really?
They got the two. They got the two places for hardwood rails already in it. You just have to put something in the the trailing edge.
Yeah, you put a pin in.
And if you wanted to do the leading edge, you could do that too. Slide it together, lock it in place.
Well, you don't have to do quite as much as you're talking about, Steve, because if you slide it together and then you, like what I would do is I'd put two dowels on the front end and plug them into the.
That's what Mike did.
Yeah, and then all you have to do is bolt the two bottom halves. It ain't coming apart. You just need an alignment one at the rear to make sure that the wing stays all aligned up.
Yeah, Mike did 2 dowels in front, 2 nylon bolts in back, and then the canopy hatch was held on with magnets.
He held it on with magnets.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because I look at that and it's, hold your fuselage up, would you, Steve? See how, hold it, there we go.
Hang on.
See, there's not a lot of material underneath that wing to carry any of the weight through. Is that enough? You know?
Well, I think
I would add a piece.
See, I'm thinking about bolting the top piece on each side there by the back of the cockpit, and each side up behind the up higher, and then about where the even with the fuselage line, right in that area, and then where the fire motor mounts are on the front. Put some plywood there with a what do you call them, blind nuts, and that way you'd have something carrying the strength through over the wing as well. But if he's,
I was gonna do that. I talked with Dennis, and I was gonna do that with this one, make it a take apart, but it's gonna be IC. And then now to try to keep all the joints from not soaking oil or letting oil through would just be a real pain in the butt.
Well, there's a secret to that. What you do is you lay, for instance, like put that wing in place, for underneath it. You take some saran wrap and you wrap the wing in that center section. Get it nice and smooth so there's no wrinkles. Then you mix up some epoxy with some less, what do they call them, the beads, the hollow beads, or anyway.
Micro balloons, yeah. With the micro balloons in it, and you lay it on there. You lay it on where the joint is, and you set the wing in and bolt it down like it's going to be. And then you clear any that's coming, oozing out the side or anything. But then when that's done, when it's dry, when it's hardened up, you take it off, and you got a perfectly fitting, very tight covering connection there, and the oil isn't going to get underneath it.
That's just a Brodak SV11.
Yeah.
This is an ARC.
Yeah.
And I have an ARF, and so does I have an electric, and then John Miller has a glow ARF.
But I tell you, they did a super nice. I mean, this wing is just lighter than crap. I mean,
Excellent job.
It is so nice.
It is.
And look how they lock all of the balsa sheeting in.
I may have to break down and order one of those.
I tell you
Here, I
what,
just set up.
hold that fuselage up again. Look at how the fuselage is built.
I saw a bunch of holes in it.
Well, what it has 1 millimeter plywood and 1 millimeter balsa. Okay, show us in the wing joint so you can see how the framework is. No, hold it so I can look at it like I was looking over the top of the wing. Tilt it towards the camera. Oh, okay, too far.
Oh, look at that.
Too far. See
There
that? That
Oh my gosh.
framework is all through there like that. And then it's got 1 millimeter balsa, or it's not soft balsa. It's
wow,
that's great. but it's
The
very, very
electric ought
loud.
to be a heck of a take apart.
Well, yeah,
I mean, this whole thing is stiff. I'm sorry I don't take directions very well, John.
that's all right. We got it done, Steve.
We got it done.
I see. That's pretty cool.
You guys, I want to end the stream. We're going to continue on, obviously, but I'm going to end the stream now. And I just want to do a real quick recap. We have had as many as 21. I think 21 is the highest I can see. 21 viewers. Of course, we're going to get a lot of replays. And right now we have 21 likes, so we're batting 100%. But as you watch this as a replay, please continue to hit the likes. That helps the channel grow. And I want to thank all the questions. We had some great questions and people attending in the chat box, and of course everybody inside here. I think we had a really good show. I just always amazed that it's hard to distinguish which is better, Monday night or Friday night. It doesn't seem to matter, and I really appreciate that. And every show, I'm just grateful for you guys coming in.
That's because I'm on both nights, Charles. They're the same.
That's right. Anyways, we're gonna end this.
Methinks the gentleman doth protest.
If you want to not miss the after party, you need to be a member of Stunthangar Forum and come into Stunthangar Forum. Go to the At the Bench thread, and you'll see a link with today's date. Click in there, and that'll bring you into the after party. And I'm no kidding. Sometimes the after party is better than the live stream. And so we're going to end the stream and bid you everybody good night. Now, this is Monday. We'll be back Friday. Go out there and have some fun and come back and tell us all about it. So see you later.
You just got to let
Bye, Ewan.
everybody know the after party's a lot more fun because I'm not as humble.
Yeah.
The after party.
You showed up for the regular one tonight. Usually you only make it for the after party.